It's time. It's time to step the up and stop crying about what happened to you. I have to stop crying about what happened to me when I was a little girl. I have to start saying, but look at me now. And there are people out there who are going to hate you for your success. And it doesn't matter if you had nothing. If you turn this around and it doesn't matter. People don't care that you have been a victim.
Arabella DeLucco is the founder of WeXL, which provides mentorship to young people so they can cultivate their creativity and thrive in the age of AI. She received a Jefferson Award in 2021 for her service to the community.
She fell in love with storytelling, and she is teaching her multimedia skills to empower people in underrepresented communities.
Arabella DeLucco studied TV broadcasting and even interned in a network talk show with Barbara Walters, but now she excels in sharing her talent.
An immigrant from the Philippines, Arabella longed for belonging from the time she was a little girl and well into adulthood. She remembers at recess when she couldn't speak English well, so she vowed to master it and fully become an American. Arabella's vision is to gather the world's most compassionate and creative into the WeXL Impact Network, from which she recruits and trains mentors for WeXL programs. Currently, Arabella lives in Chicago with her loving husband, Michael. I know Michael. He is very loving. They travel around the globe collecting memories and wine, south of France as well. Much to her husband's low-key chagrin, she practices many types of art making, including acting, writing, filmmaking, and oil painting. But this is who she is. Arabella loves to experience the full spectrum of life's blessings, and I am honored to be her friend and collaborator, and I'm going to bring her on. Hello!
Yay, Megan. Oh, I love your voice. I love you. Thank you for having me. This is a long time coming, girl.
It is a very long time coming. And actually, I'm going to put you in the driver's seat because this is the better seat because it's all about you tonight. And I honestly, this whole day I've been so excited because we were doing a Christmas theme and we have to show the Christmas background as well. And you know, every time we get together, I think the thing that I love the most about you is just how much fun we have. So we have so much to talk about in terms of creativity and marketing, and WeXL and all the things that, you know, I love your background because I think you are a testament to the American dream as well, and to, you know, the beauty of America and the beauty of what's possible. So before we get into all of, like, the juicy stuff, I wanted to ask you a little bit about Christmas because this is going to air right before Christmas. And so I was just speaking actually to somebody about Christmas in general and how in Hollywood specifically, Christmas movies are all the rage, and apparently that's how you can still make money. So for you, what is it about Christmas that brings out your childlike wonder?
Oh, okay. So that is an hard question for me to answer because childhood was difficult for me, at least a part of my childhood. So it was actually just as an adult when very recently when we bought this home that you see here. It's our first home that we ever bought. And that I just decided I'm going to turn Christmas into what I've always wanted it to be, which is full of joy and gratitude and love and just what it's supposed to be about, right? And for those who I grew up Catholic, right? And so I grew up with Jesus's teachings. Even though I'm not a practicing Christian right now, I still believe in those teachings of Christ. And I think that returning back to what this holiday is supposed to be about, and currently right now it's Hanukkah. So I have a lot of close friends who are Jewish as well. So, this is the season to bring light out of the darkest time of the year. And
Mm. So
it's the
how did
solstice.
you Oh,
Sorry.
yeah. Yeah. It's the solstice, I know. How did you speaking about, bringing light out of the darkness, like, how did you then change, change your adult view of Christmas? How did you think, because there's so many people who get stuck, right, from where they grew up and will never see Christmas the same way. So how did you do that?
So it goes back to my childhood when my grandfather had given me a Popples. Yeah, I don't know. We can find a picture of a Popples. So it's this like
Okay.
stuffed animal, and it's purple, and then they pop, so you can roll them up in a ball, and then you can pop them out.
Inside the software balls and meet new friends.
Party and puffball Popple sold separately.
See? Pop goes the Popple.
Okay, into a monster, and it's a multicolored monster. Mine was purple. And so but then he had given another family member a silky haired Cabbage Patch doll. And I was in the Philippines at that time. So I was very young. This was before I immigrated to the US. And I looked at the silky haired Cabbage Patch doll and I said, "Oh, that's what I wanted." And I was younger than the little girl that was getting the Cabbage Patch doll. So I get why I got the Popples, because the Popples was for, a younger kid. It's stuff animal.
Yeah.
And I remember as a little girl looking at the Popples and just changing my mind about it and saying, "I'm going to love you with all my heart."
Even as a little girl.
Yeah, and at least
Oh.
that's the memory that I have. And Mike loves this. This is philosophy, this childhood philosophy that I have of, turning something that something that is maybe dark for me, jealousy, right? Or wishing for something else. That's that kind of thing, into light, into more of love and gratitude, and saying like, no, what I have is amazing. This is mine. This is my Popples. So this is a Popples philosophy of life.
Oh my God.
That's what I did with Christmas.
You remember that moment, like you remember that moment
Yes.
of transformation. I mean, that's great, because Arabella, I know this about you. You are able to see the gold in the, field of dust. Uh, and that's incredible that it came. Do you think it came from anywhere, or that just came from inside of you?
I don't. It's weird. Oh my gosh, hold up. I'm gonna answer this, but I need a tissue because I'm
Okay.
getting way more emotional than I thought we would get. 1 second. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Oh. Megan, I should have known, man. You're too
Aw.
good of a friend to not be emotional with. This is
I
not.
love that story so much.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. We return to our regular programming.
I know we're keeping this in as
Okay. So yeah, I think it's weird if we want to talk about that, and it's going to be odd because I love thinking about our time here in life and multiple timelines and where we were meant to be. I think that was a wisdom as a child that I had, that maybe was something that came from a future self or a more mature self, because that was the most specific moment and the youngest moment that I remember having this kind of epiphany. uh, and I think it's that. And then there's also some other things where I used to love singing the song I believe that children are our future, the greatest love of all by Whitney Houston. And then,
Okay.
when I started WeXL, that was when I started to realize how much that song is actually my theme song for my life. And so there's these synchronicities that I see from my past, my past, current timeline, past self of just even when I was a young kid, and I look back at it, there's so much wisdom that now I understand more. Hindsight is 2020 type of idea.
I think it's also interesting because it's a really creative way of thinking. I think that speaks to the creativity that probably you had as a young child, because that is creativity, right? To be able to literally bring the darkness into the light and see what is light about the darkness. If you even want to call that gift that your grandfather gave you a darkness, like he probably has
Yes.
the best intentions, right? Like,
Oh, absolutely. And that's what it was. It was this sort of realization that, he didn't mean, that was not meant to hurt me. That was meant to give me something that he thought I would love. And
mm,
then at that moment, I thought I would love the Cabbage Patch doll now, the doll. But then now, of course, it was the Popples. The Popples was more me. I mean,
yeah.
the Popples immigrated with me to
Oh,
this. So I think that he had brought it from the States and then gave it to me in the Philippines. And then I brought the Popples to California when I immigrated here when I was like 6 or 7. I immigrated here like because I had gone to the States and then gone back and then come back to the States and then stayed here until until forever, right? And then so I remember that when I brought the
you
Popples
did?
in California, I had lived with my family there, but my aunts and my grandparents. And then we had a dog, and our dog chewed up its tail multiple times. And so my aunt had to sew back Popple's tail. So Popples had a bunch of injuries. And then I brought it to New Jersey where I grew up. And then that was where I created a passport for Popples. And so yeah, so Popples had a passport because he was from, I mean, he's global.
Oh, do you still have Popples?
No,
No.
yeah, I went to college and then I came back and he was gone. Somebody had
Mm,
thrown him away. And yeah, Mike is mad about that. Because we have this thing is you don't throw other people's things away. You
no.
know, you if you want to, it's the KonMari. I don't know if you know about Marie Kondo, but it's the KonMari way of things. Like you take care of your own space and your own stuff. You don't throw away other people's stuff because you don't know what kind of value that has for someone. So
Oh
it
my
was,
God.
unfortunately, yeah.
My mom never threw anything away like that, but she did I had like I had this whole basically collection of mice. They were like ceramic mice that I just was obsessed with mice when I was a child. And I had a whole like cabinet full of mice, and she was moving stuff and basically like dropped the entire box of my collection of ceramic mice from my childhood. And I like burst into tears. I mean, it's just so true. It's like those things, like, okay, they are just things at the end of the day, but it's yeah,
They
they're
hold meanings. They have sentiment. They have energy,
yeah.
right? I I love that book by Marie Kondo, and it changed my life because I wasn't always orderly, and that helped me understand the value of things and why you should think about what you accumulate and what you keep and what you let go. And it makes sense that you were upset because those were
Yeah, and
they
you
were
too.
well
Yeah.
meaning. They had your energy with them, right? And so makes
Yeah,
sense.
all the time that we spent with them, and you bought a passport for Popples, and I mean, it's like,
Aw,
you
I don't know
know?
what it is. It's like Toy Story, when the toys try to get out of away from the garbage dump. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah. So, okay, so now that you're an adult, like, what is a favorite tradition that you've created for yourself, as an adult?
Oh, okay. Yes, I have one because I'm actually about to start making my cassoulet. So cassoulet is south of France, right? From
It
Carcassonne,
is!
I believe.
That's
Yeah.
right
And
where I live.
yes, exactly. Right from south of France. And I
Yeah.
love there's a couple of things that are my staple, and one is ratatouille, French. And I'm a Francophile. Just so
That's why
everyone
we're
knows I'm
friends.
a Francophile, and then the other is cassoulet. So I think it was 2020 where my Christmas present was a large le creuset. Le creuset,
Oh,
is that
yeah, Le Creuset,
okay?
yeah.
And it's an 8-quart one. And Mike tried to buy me the smaller one, and I looked at him offended. I said, no, what's the point of that? I'm like, I want the big Dutch oven, Le Creuset, that was 8-quart. And so that's what I got. And I said, because I'm gonna make a cassoulet and I don't want it, I'm not just gonna make a little cassoulet. I want something that lasts until February, It's like
Yeah,
to
yeah.
feed a whole village. So I started doing that, and we're having family friends over tomorrow night to share with the cassoulet. They haven't had the cassoulet yet. This is the first time I'm making it in Chicago. I didn't make it last year, but yeah, I've been making it. So I made it a few times since I got the cassoulet. So,
I wanna come.
like
I want a
the
cassoulet.
cassoulet, like I said.
Yeah, yeah, the Creuset, yeah. Um, so let's go, back because, in your so I think, at some point, I think everybody searches for belonging, right? But you specifically said that you thought it was like, maybe your race, maybe you're from, maybe your gender, maybe it was religion or geography, but you found out that that wasn't the case. So how did you end up finding belonging, and yeah, and why weren't those things freeing for you?
Yes. So I've always searched for belonging and also helped people search for belonging for a lot. Just it just seems to be my thing. It's been my thing for a long time. And I remember even when I was in a sorority at school, you go through a rush, right? Recruitment. And I picked a sorority, and I actually, it was kind of like it was this silky haired Cabbage Patch doll that I ended up picking. That I probably hindsight should have picked the Popples in that sense, but I was just so dead set on this one sorority because of the optics of the sorority.
Mm,
And I didn't get close with my pledge class, even though one of my best friends from college, who's still my best friend, one of my close friends, she and I pledged together, and we were close. But the rest of the rest of our pledge class had grown up together, and so they were from the same high school. So it was already automatically like I didn't belong. And it's not that they were mean to me at all. They were all like, everybody was so kind. My sorority sisters were so kind, but I just never felt comfortable
mm,
in the sorority. And and then, and I had options too. I had options to join maybe the Rutgers, Filipino American community, which I didn't also feel comfortable with because I've always had a group of friends that were diverse. So, and then Yes. So when I was in the sorority, I actually ran for Pan-Hellenic Council, which is the governing council of the sororities.
Mhm.
And what I realized, I became president of Pan-Hellenic, but what I really liked was when I was co-vice president of recruitment, because that was when I was able to help young women decide which sorority they belong to. And it's a weird feeling, but that was something that felt closer to who I really am, like who I am now, right? So I've always loved gathering people. I've always loved helping people figure out where they should be in life. Like even with my husband, helped him transition to a different job, a whole different job that really changed our life, right? So I've always felt this sort of calling to do that for friends and loved ones, and just even strangers. It's like, oh, tell me your wildest dreams, and I'll tell you, like, let's ideate on how you can get those dreams to come true, right? This is like my jam. So, and then recently I started this YouTube channel, which you were on, and
Mhm.
I had was just talking spontaneously in front of the camera, and I started saying these words, and and I got emotional. When I get emotional, I know there's truth in what I'm saying. And the words were, I find belonging in my creations. I had never said those group of words before until I filmed that moment. And I was crying by the time I just realized what was coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Um, and then
And
I
it's in
thought,
it's in your bio now.
yes, exactly. Because it's just, oh, this is what has always been in front of my face. That it is, I always have believed that people have the power as individuals, as sovereign individuals, to create the life they want. Therefore, in the act of creating the life they want, they will find their belonging. And that just and that is where
Yeah,
saying
yeah, yeah. Which is like also creativity, right? I mean, that
it's
is
creativity. It is. It's creativity. But
creating your life.
yes, creativity is in every single aspect of your life.
Yeah.
It's not just in the art that you practice, it is in every part. And also, honestly, uh, do you want to talk about south nodes and north nodes in this at all?
Sure, yeah, let's go.
So in my natal chart, I found out that my south node is in a certain place that shows that I'm really creative in the house that is supposed to be where you keep house, your daily,
Oh,
daily
interesting.
function,
So
right?
your fourth house, is it?
It's the sixth house. It's in the house that's supposed to be ruled by Virgo. Yeah, six. It's the opposite of 12. So sixth house.
Oh, I thought six. Six
Yeah.
is no, fifth is pleasure. Six is daily chores, maybe. Yeah. Okay. So
Daily
then you have the
chores,
house.
like
I see. I
working
see. Yeah.
out, physical, like working out and discipline. Like that's why Virgo rules that house, right? Like Virgo
Okay.
rules the sixth house, but my Pisces is in the sixth house, which is the creativity. My Pisces is in the sixth house. So it's usually that means that I'm kind of all over the place. It's hard for me to keep my daily living, you know, straight,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I love it in your bio when you said that much to her husband's low-key chagrin. She practiced many types of art making. But that's like also, why you're also the perfect person to have founded WeXL, which we'll get into in a second. So okay, it's funny because one of my questions was actually, well, when was the exact moment you figured out creativity gave you the belonging you crave? But you just answered that. So it was like when it was just spontaneous when you were doing this YouTube video. And so why don't you focus on one? Like, what do multiple mediums give you?
I think it's how you know it, man. You also have, you told me you showed me a question too about this as well. Like, do I regret it? But I won't answer that yet. Do I regret being like this way? This way, it drives me nuts. It drives me crazy. But it's almost like I can't help it. I am so enamored with what is life is presenting to me that my process is to try. And my goodness, there's a word. It's called autotelic. Autotelic is this, Van Gogh was autotelic, where it wasn't about the result or the product. It's about the process of making that piece of art. So I am an autotelic person where I realize that I love to learn and I love the process of making. And sometimes it's not always, I learn so much in the process that sometimes when I stop learning in the process or I get bored, I just drop that process and don't get anything out of it, right? And so it's important for me to find a routine in my life that allows me to be my creative self, truthful to who I am, and create on a consistent basis. So it's like when Van Gogh finally realized what kind of painter he was, right? Instead of making, I don't know if you've ever seen the potato eaters. It's just
No.
drab. It's sad. I mean, it's brown. And Theo, his brother, who loved him and who was his salesperson and manager, right? Talent manager. Theo, his brother, was like, dude, this thing, no one's gonna buy this. It's so sad. It's depressing, man. Don't, no one's gonna buy the potato eaters. And it's just, and I go to Amsterdam all the time, so I've seen the potato eaters. I'm like, yeah, this is so sad. And then he started painting in these glorious colors, right? And then he
Yeah.
couldn't stop. So what I found with my own self, when this sort of, much to my husband's chagrin, Loki,
Chagrin. Yeah, not
Loki,
100%.
because he is very supportive, especially of my oil painting, but not of my comedy. So he doesn't think I'm that funny. So whatever. I don't care.
Mark,
I'm
you
still
are
gonna do it.
hilarious.
It's funny, damn it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So he just, there is this thing. I mean, we actually had a fight. I haven't actually talked about this. I still have a video. I haven't put up on YouTube about it. I did a whole video about how one day during it was like around my birthday or on my birthday, my 35th birthday or something like that. I had just gotten let go from my tech job that I loved, that I was getting paid a lot of money for. It was a tech marketing job and I loved it, and I got let go. And it was hard because it was a lot of money, and I was just, it was just what it was. And and I told Mike, I said, I just feel
Yeah.
like I'm a creative person and I'm not getting seen as a creative person in the tech industry. I'm just not being seen. They just think they don't get me. And then Mike goes, maybe we have a different definition of what creative is. What do you mean? And he goes, well, creative people create. What have you made? That was, oh,
Oh my god. I remember you telling me this, and I was like, "What? Divorce him right now."
right, right. It was
You know,
so, it
but
wasn't,
you need that too. You need, he was
hear it.
honest, and that's what, it's actually what got you to, it was like, I had a guy once tell me, because I was like, well, yeah, I'm in shape, and he was like, you're not in shape, and I was like, for some people that would be completely, completely like rude, or but but he was like, look, if we're in this together, like I'm trying to pull you, higher. And actually he was right. Like I wasn't in great shape. I could always be better. But but it's like
But look at
when
you now. You are
right.
hot. You are in shape now. I mean, I don't know
No,
when
but
he said that to you, but if he said it to you now, I'd be like, punch him. But I don't
no,
know.
but you hear that as a friend. Like I heard that, when you told me that as a friend, and Micah said that to you, and I immediately was like, what? Like, like that's rude. But it's actually exactly what love is. That's like the definition of love, is to tell you the truth and to, and it probably was hard to hear, right?
It was so hard to hear. And it was so hard to hear because it was something, it was eye-opening. If
Yeah.
my partner, my best friend, who knows me more than anybody else in the world, I spent so much more time with him than anyone else, said that to me, then no one has a clue then if he doesn't know. So I had to, that was the beginning of changing the way I live my life, and not, and understanding, yeah, creativity is so much a part of me, but that I didn't even realize people didn't see me as that.
Right.
But it wasn't even supposed to be for other people, but it definitely is going to your marketing component of it, right?
Mhm.
People have to witness things. People have to, if you want, there's a point where it is so important for you to share your work and who you are, because you want to be seen in this world. You don't want to not be seen. This world is not, yeah, our purpose in this life is not to just live in a, just here.
So what do you tell people? Because I met a lot of people who have said, no, my art is just for me. That's it. What do you say to those people? Do you think, what do you say to those people? I'm just curious.
Well, it depends on what it is, right? And so there is a point where you you are the ultimate boss of how you want to be in this world, right? And so for me, for example, my oil painting, it is, I've received commissions before I got paid for my oil painting, which is weird because it was so early in my oil painting journey that it was actually bad for me to get that kind of attention, because I feel like now I'm actually trying to go back to the basics of oil painting because I was too fast on the,
Interesting.
it was
Yeah.
so, it was, yeah, I had a natural ability in it that got me too far from where I was supposed to go. And so
Yeah.
with my oil painting, it is really truly for me right now. It can't be a business. It ruins it for me. It's a sacred space for me. So I can't, I have to stop myself from making it into a business, and even to a point where even maybe pushing that too hard. But it is so much a part of me, right? So that is different. But when it comes to WeXL, I need to start pushing that out more because it is ready to be pushed out. Uh, and even I've even been hesitant. It takes so long. Megan, it's like it takes. You're a filmmaker.
Yeah.
It always takes way longer than
Yeah.
you.
I love this. I saw this one meme. It wasn't a meme. Not everything's a meme. It was just an interview with this woman, and she was a successful fashion designer. And she said, "I'm not interested in doing anything that doesn't take at least 15 years." And
Oh yes.
I think I said that to you, right? So what? Oh yeah, that was actually the question. I loved your answer actually about creativity and like what does each medium give you that another can, and how you learn I mean, I think if we're not using creativity to go through a process, like kind of what is the point, right? And so I want to hear about WeXL, and it's a nonprofit, and it's been something you've been, so speaking about things taking a very long time to get made. When did you start this? And talk us through kind of the evolution of it, and yeah, where you are now.
So, wow, I just looked at my LinkedIn because I revised my bio for the LinkedIn because of this. So thank you for that opportunity to revise my bio. Uh, I looked at LinkedIn and I realized it says 9 years I've been doing WeExcel, because November 2017 was when we received our 501c3 nonprofit determination letter. And then 2018 was like our first year of operation. And that then it was about bringing more diverse talent into the workforce. And a lot of it, I had a lot of work experience in sort of software engineer software engineering talent communities, like building those kinds of things. But I had already slowly started looking at, because I had also helped software engineers develop their thought leadership, and like what is their story, what should they be talking about. Then I started just going into creativity, because that was around the time when, I was exploring that side of me. I started oil painting classes at City College in I think early 2018, and I started cinema classes there too. And I just said, I'm going to start learning something that I can make from. That's why I took up oil painting, because I wanted to be able to make something on my own from start to finish.
Mm.
Boom. And I guess I could have done that as a writer as well. I mean, I used to get paid for my writing. I used to be a newspaper reporter, right? So but writing was too hard at that time. Writing was I find myself getting a lot of blockage with the writing. So going back to WeExcel again, is that when I first started WeExcel, it was so nebulous. It was still trying to
Why did
find,
you start it?
what is it?
Why did you start it?
There was my friend who I was working for at a few times, like a few times in my life, like Jeff Domaraki, who was the co-founder of Mid Ventures, where you and I had first cross paths, right? It's he was the one who said something about doing a nonprofit around technical people and diversity. And so at first it was girl dev, and then I had, for some reason, did not love, well, I didn't like the word girl at that time. I was getting a lot of flack for it because
Yeah.
women and girl stuff. And so I said, let me rethink this. And he basically kind of propped me up to do my own thing within his developer week conference. And I kept on thinking about it, and I said, that's not the name, girl dev.
Girl dev,
And
yeah.
yeah, and I had actually gotten a Baker McKenzie to be our fiscal sponsor, our to give pro bono to us, to me, to start the filing for the 501c3. So we started this 501c3 filing with the idea of doing it for women developers, software
Mhm.
engineers, because that's where I was, coming from in terms of like the tech industry. And it just never felt right. And then, but one day I looked up WEXL.org, and it was available for $12 on, a domain site. And I
Yeah.
said, that's the name. We excel. That's the name.
No, that's so funny.
Yeah. And then so we did the whole, we renamed it, and then the organization became We Excel. So that's how it started.
Mhm.
Uh, and then and
So
then it
that was
got into
around what year?
that was sub 20. So between 2015 and 2017 was when the whole girl dev thing was being brought up. And then 2018 was when our first year as WeXL, the nonprofit, as an operating nonprofit.
And so tell us what WeXL did then and what does it do now?
What it did then was this sort of in the DEI space, diversity, equity, and inclusion for talent, right? And I did that though by telling people stories and just
Nothing to do with children at that point.
No, the
Okay.
time when that happened with the kids was when 2020 happened, and instead of going to Italy for our 40th birthdays, we were in lockdown for the pandemic, and my husband and I decided to go to the Grand Canyon instead, and we went on a rafting trip. And I met a teacher there, and I told her about what I was doing, and then she said, "I love it. I have a class that's an all-girls school in the Bronx. I'd love to talk to you about getting your mentor network," right? So we always had this mentor network because we had a diverse talent group, right, of people. And at that time, I was interviewing people online during the pandemic because I couldn't do anything else. I was interviewing a diverse group of people, right? And trying to find the creativity in there too, right? There's it was still about people's stories. It was still about their thought leadership, all of that.
And what did diverse mean to you at the time?
All aspects of diversity, but also, of course, like the way we look, right? Obviously, the color of our skin, ethnicity, culture, all of that, all of it, right? And again, this whole belonging thing, helping people find belonging, I wanted to help people find their thought leadership, their voice, right? And so diverse talent group of people. So I had all these people. And then because of my work in film and video production, I've also done a lot of that because I used to have a production company in the past. I had filmmakers in my network, right? And I spoke to you in 2020 as well. And then because of my work in DEI, when the George Floyd protests started happening, Logitech gave us a grant for creators for BIPOC. And that was when I finally had a proper operating budget to do a program. And what I decided to do with that budget is one, get an intern program. And then the other one was to start this online mentorship program called Boundless Creators for these fourth grade girls in the Bronx, whose teacher is the woman I met at the in the Grand Canyon, like in the Grand Canyon. And so you just to show you how you can meet anybody anywhere, and then you can start collaborating and and talking to each other. That was when I said, whoa, the kids, this is it. This is interesting. This is really interesting. And we had still worked with fellows, Ornell Caesar was a fellow. We still worked with these like really amazing adults who needed our help. So we had programs, like we had our fellowship program, and we would build their thought leadership. And it was really successful, the adult thought leadership building. But it was just like so white glove. Like, how do you actually make a bigger impact in more than one person's life? And that was like the children. There's more impact in teaching the kids, and empowering them to create and be creative. So that was the start of it, was in 2020. And then it wasn't until 2023 when we brought it to San Francisco. And I brought on more board members who believed in the kids programs, and we were able to pilot the kids program in San Francisco, and it was a hit. The in-person kids program was such a hit. We, at the end of the 8-week mentor workshops, creator workshops. We then had a film festival screening in San Francisco, and the news reporters were there. It was so well received by the community. It was so lovely, and I thought I could really raise funds from this event, and I couldn't. Yes, and at this point, though, I said the kids program is WeXL. This is it.
Mhm.
This is like we teach kids how to be healthy creators. And then with I had also tried to with Logitech's, support, I had tried to bring in more DEI programs and spoke to dozens of DEI newly hired DEI directors, and it was the sad part was, and I had enough of a sampling to understand, they were put in place as figureheads with no resources. So
What does
it
that
was
mean? No resources in terms of like
they
they
wanted
didn't.
programs. They wanted free programs from us, but we were like, we can't host a program unless it's funded, right?
Mm,
We couldn't we couldn't do it. And then at the end of the day, it wasn't the way I saw diverse talent being. It wasn't about the character. Not it was
the
about
color
the
of your
color of
skin.
the skin, not
Oh,
the
right. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
it wasn't what Martin Luther King Jr. was talking about. It was just about the color of your skin. It was just about who you were. There was a point where I'm not going to say the company, but I
Mm,
had this person was Asian American, and she was head of an Asian American corporate resource group. And we were talking about me and one of our mentors, Unbi Chang, who is from South Korea. And she is a filmmaker, animated filmmaker, brilliant, and artist, right?
mhm.
We had this beautiful program that Unbi and WeXL created together, and it was called Your Hero's Journey, and it was taking the hero's journey and applying it to your professional career story. And we presented it to this Asian American resource group at Zoom, and they were like, "Oh, we like the program, but since the organization helps all kinds of people, we don't want to hire you. We don't want to pay for this workshop because we only want to work with organizations that focus on Asian Americans."
Wow.
And I said, okay, first of all,
I
I'm the
am
founder of this organization. I am Asian American. Unbi Chang is South Korean, and
right.
now at that time she just immigrated. She had like a few years still, so she was still South Korean. And so,
They didn't want to work there.
what are you talking about? And this is about empowering your voice. This is which is much needed in the Asian American community in the corporate world.
And yeah, another Asian, and like they would be helping two Asian American women. Yeah.
But no, because your organization doesn't just focus on Asian Americans. We don't want to. We don't want to. We don't want this workshop.
Okay, so controversial question, not in the question pack, but but where
It's
how
okay.
do you
I feel safe with you.
I know. How do you think diversity, like DEI, has helped or hurt creativity?
Mm, you're great. This is a real good question. Oh wow. Okay. Wow. It's not in the question pack. Um,
Put us in people.
so okay. There's studies, okay, on this. And we can actually touch on AI now because that's
Great.
we're gonna talk about AI. So what WeXL is doing now is so necessary in the age of AI. When you write grants, they always ask you why now? Why does your organization need? Why does this film need to be made today, right now? Right?
Yeah.
That's always the question and every grant application. Why is WeXL needed now? So in the past, it was about that DEI thing. What I realize now, and it goes with the AI, there's a study from 2024 that shows that while AI can generate a lot of things, a lot of content, a lot of output, what you lack is the diversity of ideas, novelty of ideas, right? So in creativity, there is no doubt that diversity helps creativity. I believe that 100%. Now, the problem with the way the diversity, equity, and inclusion, bless you, DEI, and why I woke up from it, right? Is because the way it's being done now is not through really creating more diversity of ideas, which is backwards. It's saying that it's only taking the way you look into account. It is not taking the way you think and see the world. It's not taking your value system. It's not, because it only
or your socioeconomic.
it doesn't even take your socioeconomics. I mean, it used to. It used to be for socioeconomically disadvantaged people. It used to. It doesn't even do that. It stops at what you look like,
right?
And what you look like and
Or
what
where you
you
come
believe
from.
in. Yeah.
Or who your parents were.
It's the lack of it's lacking diverse perspectives, which is required for diversity, for creativity, because diverse thought is required for creativity, and it is what AI doesn't do. It cannot give you the breadth of ideas that a group of human beings can.
Yeah, it makes me think about your sorority and, the group of girls who all grew up together and all looked the same, and you didn't feel like you belonged. And it's like, it makes sense there, right? Because it's like, it's not just that they look the same, maybe, or they were blonde and like, and pretty. It's that they all came from the same place. And it's like,
Yes.
it's funny because I went to
And they
USC.
have history. They have history.
Yeah.
Like they have history together. How am I going to come in there and be like, yo, I'm a new girl. Will you give me a shot? They're just going to be, talking to each other.
Right.
They can't even help it, but they've already developed that relationship.
Well, it actually always makes me think, because I was a scholarship kid, scholarship like grant kid, who was National Hispanic Scholar, who got into USC. And one of the reasons I decided to go to USC was, one, they gave me so much money. And I couldn't afford to go to NYU. Yeah. Well, but it was far away, from Baltimore. And but also one of the things they touted was one of the most diverse, this was in 2000, right? The most diverse campus like in the United States. And I went to Baltimore School for the Arts, which is a high school. And that
was diverse. Baltimore School for the Arts.
Well, that was not just diverse physically, like it was half black, half white, yes, and like Hispanic and all the things you can imagine. But we literally all came from different types of backgrounds. Like you had inner city kids, but you also had suburb kids. You had, kids from literally Bel Air in Maryland, which is like more of the rich, you had all socioeconomic levels. And we all just loved each other and made fun of each other. And it was a real utopia. But when I got to USC, it was all rich kids who were diverse. Like we had like princes, from like Saudi Arabia. We had like the black kids from Bel Air. We had the white kids from like, and then, but then every table, like you went to lunch, every table was like, all the black kids sat together, all the Asians sat together, and like talking about diversity of thought, like there wasn't any, I would wait tables for all the rich kids, and like maybe it was like me and my friends that had the most diverse thought, but like they were all, universally spoiled children. Like that's literally what it was. You can throw a bunch of colors together, but if, like you're saying, like um if it's not diverse of thought, like I think that's such a great point. So um let's get to what, so you're at WeXL, now you're focusing on children and creativity and developing them. Why then, like where do you see, oh yeah, this was a big question actually I had for you. Have you seen the difference as years have gone on? Because it's only been 5 years, but have even those 5 years, 4 years, I guess, have you seen a difference in creativity and how kids are relating to creativity in the age of AI?
Yes. And that is basically, I've seen it through speaking to parents. The there's so much that has happened in the 5 years, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
has just been an intense 5 years of our lives,
Yeah.
of this planet.
Yeah.
This is something, we are in new territory. And you and I have been in technology for a while, right?
Yeah.
You and I, when we were working in technology in the past, when we first entered, it was like Uber had just entered the market. Uber wasn't even really in Chicago at that time when you and I met, right? This was 20.
Twitter had just entered the market. Like,
I actually
um,
was around, like, I should have just had my at Arabella. It's wonderful that you have at Megan. That's amazing. But
oh yeah.
I was in LA it was 2006 or 7. 2007 was Twitter, or 8. It was insane.
2007, yeah.
It was insanely early. And
Yeah.
I was like, what is this thing? Like microblogging. It was weird. And
Yeah.
I had always, like even with my previous business, which was a live webcasting company for nonprofits like the Women's Conference, like the Hands On Network, like the reason why I was able to scale those businesses was because I had partnerships with technology companies like Livestream, that YouTube wasn't even streaming then. And even before that, I was in LA with a group of my friends, like trying to do videos online before YouTube was a thing. In February 2006 was when like we decided that maybe we should start with YouTube. We should just put our stuff on YouTube and not create our own, video platform. And then, that crashed and burned, right? And so I'm getting at is, where am I talking? I'm so sorry. Where were we?
No, I was asking you, what have you seen? How have you seen children change
Kids,
like in the past 5
kids.
years? Yeah.
It's about the kids. I'm so sorry.
Oh
So
no,
I'm talking about technology, and
it's
I
all
got
relevant
sidetrack on the technology, but it has to do with the kids. I swear,
because
because kids,
our brains have also switched
yes,
since then, since 2007, 2008,
it's
and
just
yeah.
been so insane. So that's
Mm,
like within the past 20 years, and then within the past, 2012 was within the past 15 years, right? When we first met, and then within the past 5 years has been more insane, because these kids were locked down. They have their development years being in front of a computer. They have
yeah,
education. I'm not an education expert, but let me tell you, I am just appalled at
yeah.
all the money that's being spent in education, with our children not even having basic skills. For
Mm,
Harvard to now have remedial math, shouldn't that be a little concerning, everybody, that Harvard now has remedial math courses? That's a little concerning to me. So, yes.
I didn't
So,
know that.
yeah, we are spending in Chicago spends $35,000 a year per student for Chicago public school students. And I don't know this for a fact, but someone had told me that 20% are illiterate when they graduate high school. How do you spend that much money and not have educated children? How do you
Wow.
spend that much money and not be effective? And
Mm.
this makes me so angry because it's not even about the money. It's not even about the fact that my property taxes just went up a considerable amount, but it's the fact that the kids aren't getting any benefit for more money we're spending. So with that, kids are not getting music, art, any creative enrichment program that
Wow.
we received when we were kids. So now parents
Mhm.
have to do that for the children, and parents are now working. Both parents need to be working two jobs if you're lucky enough to have two parents. And then because it's so expensive to live, to provide for your family, so the
Yeah.
children, so everybody is just running at 100%, and the kids aren't getting any benefit from it and value. And
Mm.
then they're stuck in front of their devices, and they're growing up faster than they should be in terms of what they're seeing, but yet inside they're still not fully forming yet because they're not getting the enrichment necessary to be a healthy person, right? Because the arts make you a healthier person. I mean, it
Yeah, I'm
helps you,
going
it
nuts about that.
helps
Yeah.
you it helps make you a healthy person. Of course, there's still things around that you have to take care of yourself, because you use your body. But it's like athletics too, you use your body. But what I've seen in the past 5 years from talking to parents is not only all of these things that's happening, right, in the world, but also that are affecting our children. But you're also seeing somehow this powers that be, the systems in place, are making children specialize at a young age, which just trumps creativity. It's just like you want to, in athletics as well. So
Mm.
the kids cannot play baseball if they're playing football because they have practice and they're 6, 7 years old. I mean, how do you even know that you're good at football instead of baseball? Like, how would
Yeah.
you even know that? And your body's not even mature yet. So how do you even know? How do you even know if you even like this stuff, this
I
sports?
I mean, at 5 years old, I was like, "I'm gonna be an actress," and that lasted for 20 years, but I think you can know, but not all kids do know for sure, right?
No, I mean, I don't know. You know, I'm still taking acting classes, and I'm still doing all these things that I still don't know. And I love it though. But I
Yeah.
mean, the issue is those specialization. Okay. There are kids that, I mean, I think, were you a pretty serious child?
I was very, studious, I would say, but I
Studious. Were you
yeah.
focused? Because I have mentored children who are very serious kids.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I wasn't like a complete I was a nerd, but I wasn't the nerdiest of nerds. Like, I definitely
no,
always got
it makes
straight
sense. I
A's.
mean, you're an actress too, so you were. I mean, I feel like that makes you cool already, versus
Not
like,
I mean, not when you have, like, a bowl cut and you're a little chubby. Like,
oh, I always
and you're the new kid, like, in school, and, like no, I was not I mean, I always think I had a little, like, something where I was a bit, I kind of knew who I was, or, like, had an inner confidence that, um, but no, I was definitely, like, I loved books, I loved studying, I loved acting, I also loved sport. I always wanted to be, like, the best at, like, whatever I did.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I wanted to be best at everything I did, but I was not very good at sports. And it's just what it is. I like, okay, I'm just not good at that.
I was
It's
really
fine.
bad at swimming. That was
You're
the
just
last
less like, oh, I'm still
hmm,
kind of bad at it. It's fine. But it's okay. And well, see, that's also another thing about creativity. I think, even especially for adults, like, we have to allow ourselves to be bad at something, because
yeah.
that's how we learn, and that's how we grow. And we have to forgive ourselves for being bad at something. And with the kids these days, from what I've seen, is that they are being faced with uh, a lot of pressure, and then but yet they don't get to play enough. And there's a lot of creativity that is developed when children play. And there's a study that shows that between the ages of 8 and 12, children's children's creativity start going down as they start conforming to social norms, because they can't just play and be themselves and experience things without the added pressure of everything else that's happening, like puberty and all of that, right?
And do you
And
think
so
AI is kind of making kids feel like they have to be perfect because it's like because AI can seemingly spit out something that's perfect like that. And do you think it like do you think it makes the fear of failure even like stronger? I know it's a loaded question but yeah, how do you?
I don't know enough about it because I haven't read anything about that, about how kids feel about their use of AI. I just understand how
Mm.
how it affects me. So I could just imagine a little me, the little girl, the Popples philosophizing girl. And
Yeah.
I would think, because right now, I mean, I actually I took a break from my YouTube channel because I realized the last episode was too much written by AI, because I just wanted to get it posted. So I said, "Oh my goodness, this is not how I want my YouTube channel to be. I have to reassess how I'm going to do this again moving forward." And I'm committed to going back to that YouTube channel, but I wanted to figure out, how am I going to do this? And it was because of this sort of pressure that I put into myself. And then I started, I created with AI. I created my scripts with AI. I spoke the words. And I noticed that even when I was creating my scripts with AI, with the other videos that I actually did like, I would spend a long time. There's one video about my gifted and talented program that I was part of when I was in fourth grade. And that was, I took a test, a creativity test called the Torrance test. And I talk about that. And I wrote that script with ChatGPT, but it still took me 8 hours to write that script.
Oh
Yes,
wow.
exactly. So even though I used ChatGPT to write that script, I still took the same amount of hours that I would have taken if I had written that script without
How
ChatGPT.
did you use if it took you 8 hours, how did you use it to um how did you work with it that way? Like, was it just, did you keep reprompting it, or did it spit something out and then you'd rewrite what it wrote, or?
Yeah, I did write. I would write like this, just a brain dump, and I put it in ChatGPT, and then I had my research already done, and then I was asked ChatGPT to like give me additional research that I haven't seen, and then I would read the research that ChatGPT would send
Mm.
me. So it's kind of like just, like Google search, right? So it was kind of acting like Google search. So I still read the research, I still pulled some bits from it, and then I would just question certain sentences that ChatGPT would write. And
That's
I would
good.
say, "Are you sure this is true? This doesn't seem right. Like, where is it in this article that says that?" And then it's like, "Oh, really sorry. That's not what it says." And I said, "Okay, wrong."
Mhm.
So I would
Yeah,
cross.
I'm glad that you're saying that, because I think way too many people just assume everything that's coming out is correct. And I've done the same thing before. I'm like, even like astrology, right? I think we talked about
Yes,
that.
yes.
It does not calculate. I mean, it's not mathematical. It's a large language model system, so it's not accurate. It's there as like a tool to be approximate. It's approximate. It's not exact. It's not a calculator.
And it was,
It's not an
yes.
encyclopedia. It's not, it's
But the scary part is, though, it tries to give you an answer that you want to hear.
yeah.
That's the scarier part than say Google, right? And Google search has been so hard. Like I've been so disappointed in Google search lately. And this has been happening the past couple of years. It's like, what these searches are just, I mean, and also just in general,
Now it's
journalism
AI as
these
well.
days. Yeah, exactly. And the journalism these days is just, oh, I can't even with the journalism.
Yeah.
You know, it's it's so much. I don't, I know that I can see it. And the only way, there was a judge, and I think I think it was the judge from Larry Flint, like the case. I
Yeah.
can't define what porn is, but I know when I see it. Like I
Is that what he
know
said?
being when
Yeah.
something Chat GPT writes, and I'm like, was that is that right?
Yeah.
No. And then but not people do enough. Like
No.
they don't work hard enough to double
No.
check it.
No, and I used this example yesterday, actually in another Whimsy and Grit, but it's sorry nephew, but I was sitting and watching my nephew give a speech because he was a speech class, class speaker, and it was in middle school, and he was talking about his family and like how much he loved his mom and his dad, and how they're a diverse family because his dad's from Colombia and his mom's half Cuban. And then how growing up in the house, they always like loved eating empanadas, and how his mom made empanadas and everything else. I looked at my sister, I was like, you make empanadas? And she was like, no. And I was like, and I just knew, I was like, this was written by ChatGPT. It was AI, and also the way, how like AI like re-summarizes, like overly summarizes it kind of at the end. He did that like a couple of times, and I was like, wow, this did not come from anywhere from his heart whatsoever. He put in a couple of prompts, and like empanadas are not something that we eat. Like, I think it's like Mexican. I don't even know.
It's not. I know that's right because Cubans don't eat empanadas. It is totally Mexican. I was like, that's not. No, you're right. And they don't eat the empanadas. Oh, that is.
And I was
Oh,
just like, and everyone's just like,
oh.
oh, and I'm just like, and he like thinks he looks all smart and all like, and I'm just like, but that's also, for me, that's more of a shame. First of all, he didn't go through the exercise of digging through his heart and figuring out what made his childhood beautiful, what made his childhood like, what really was happening there. Second of all, that like, he didn't even notice that like what he was reading wasn't even real. And then everybody who's watching it is like, what a smart kid, and it's like, well, he's the one missing out. So
Well, and who is going to be able to tell him that? But
yeah.
you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can call him out on it. But then if he just presents that at school the way it is, he'll just get away with it. He'll never know.
Yeah.
He'll
Yeah.
never know that that's not right. And that's where exposing kids at a young age to think critically, to
Yeah.
dig deep inside, and then also do the work. Why is there a value in doing the hard part?
Yeah.
It's
Right,
like,
exactly. Yeah. What is the point of the challenges in life? Like, what do we actually get from it? And I think that's what's going to become harder and harder to teach people, is the
because
value in
everything's so
difficulty.
easy.
Mm.
I mean, that's why, people take this country for granted. In the
Mm.
United States of America, I just saw someone post, I hate this country. And you know why? Because TJ Maxx and Marshalls and Macy's are putting return fees on items.
Oh, that's messed up. Why are they doing that?
Well, it is messed up, but I mean, that's corporation. But why do you hate this country because of that?
No, I know. I mean, that is dumb to have return fees after all these years, but that's not a reason to hate the country.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not You
Yeah.
know, like, it's dumb. I mean, I don't shop in those places anyway. I mean, honestly, I don't really shop in those
I
places.
love
So
I love Marshalls and TJ Maxx. I love a good like bargain hunt.
I get overwhelmed. I get
Yeah,
overwhelmed.
it's types of people in life, I feel like. People
Yeah.
who walk into Marshalls and get overwhelmed, and people who or TJ Maxx and the other people who just, like, find it as, like, an
Love
adventure.
it.
Like,
Well, funny enough, this is from TJ Maxx. It was the first
"Oh,
time I think it was the first time I've ever stepped into TJ Maxx and I found this thing.
oh, there you
Sorry,
go."
I got Mike one too. Like, well, not this, but a
I
good
love
sorted.
finding, like, I go to vintage stores and,
Yeah,
like, I love spending, like,
I
hours
love
at
vintage
I think this is
stores.
vintage store, like, this is a vintage
See,
if you couldn't
this
tell.
is I love vintage. I like the vintage stores more than TJ Maxx and Marshalls.
To
It's a
me, it's, like, a
different.
similar thing, yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of finding something that someone previously owned, and then it's like, and then you make it a treasure. You know, that's like meaningful to me. But yeah, okay, I don't know. I just kind of think I think that sometimes things becomes too easy, and then we take it for granted, and then we lose sight of why we're here in life, and with the
Totally.
kids, right? And the Chat GPT makes things too easy to do, and that's
Yeah.
what I realized with the YouTube channel. It's like, yeah, I got an episode out, but it was awful. I'm so
You didn't get anything from it, and what you said from the beginning of this interview is also that your creativity, like, for you, your autotech, I think you said?
autotelic.
Autotelic. So, what you actually glean from creativity is the process, you're skipping the process.
I'm skipping the process just to post something.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying something different. I mean, and I also end up talking too much. So that's why I do like the scripting, like writing the script. But I think
So what is
it's,
talking too much?
oh, you
You know?
say this all the time with your voice messages to me. When you tell me it's okay to leave you a long voice message, and I feel like, oh, that's just too much. I need to
Because
reduce this.
we're in this, like, I mean, and I'm putting it on this screen because, we're gonna wrap this up in a minute, but, like, we're gonna go through rapid fire.
Yeah, 120, 1 hour,
Talk about
over an
talking too
hour.
much. But, like, this is, because we live in the I think we get obsessed with the idea that, things have to be short because we think we have short attention spans. But, on YouTube and I mean, who is the number one podcast in the world? Joe Rogan. And what does he do? He talks for like 3 hours, right? I mean, it's funny because like films, they're always like get it down to an hour and a half, but like which films are people like craving the most? It's like 2 to 3 hour, literally now films are like 2 to 3 hours. So I think you have to go with what the time what you have to say is what you have to say, and there's no time limit to that necessarily. That's my opinion. And I love hearing like, yeah, 7-minute voice messages. Um,
Yes, yes, you're right. You know, I'm thinking about that some more. I think with my with my brain, and it's one of the reasons why I am studying improv right now, is because I would like to be better with on my feet, and the way I speak is important, and sometimes my mouth is faster than my brain, and then I go down rabbit holes, and then I'm just like, oh, that was dark. I sometimes I get too dark, and then I gotta go back to the light, and I want to share a lot more joy in life now versus the trauma. And I think, if the
yeah.
the reason why I wanted to give you a new bio is because I've had even just epiphanies recently that just made me realize that I need to move away from my trauma, and just, oh, can we touch on this? Can we just talk really quickly? So one of the things that I'm in the business of empowerment. Yes, creativity, but
Mm.
I empower people to get reconnected to their creative being, right? That's really what I do, because
Yeah.
I believe that's what's going to help us succeed in this new day of AI. And I feel more passionate than ever of what I am meant to be doing in this life. And it's really important to stop playing the victim and start realizing our power as individual human beings, because it will take power to thrive. It will take that. It will take our own empowered self. And if we're not empowered, we are going to bring down the rest of the world. And it's just what it is. And it's time to step the fuck up and stop crying about what happened to you. Right? I have to stop crying about what happened to me when I was a little girl. I have to start saying, but look at me now. And there are people out there who are going to hate you for your success. And it doesn't matter if you had nothing, if you turned this around and it doesn't matter. People don't care that you have been a victim. They don't care, because there are people out there that will just hate you for what you have because they can't have what you have, when they should be really focusing on themselves and how to empower themselves and what they have in front of them. They have to be Popples Philosophy, that thing in front of them.
We're gonna fucking TM that shit. Trademark the
Popples
Popples Philosophy. This is
It's a Popples philosophy.
hey, that should be the name of your new, like, the Popples Philosophy.
Popples
Popples
philosophy.
Philosophy.
Look at what you have in front of you.
Yeah.
And make something out of it. That's creativity. When you're resourceful, you see what you have. You don't have a lot, but you see what you have. It's MacGyver that. MacGyver is so creative. I love MacGyver. Just see what you can make with that. Make it work. Tim Gunn in a
Like
Project Run.
what I did with my lights.
Yes, make it work. As a filmmaker, when you have to make it work, right? What do you have? It's
My
beautiful.
fake little fireplace.
Make it work, Megan. Make it work.
You gotta
Make
get
it
creative here. That's
Yes,
right.
get creative. Okay, my love. That's it. I have to say it.
I love it. I love it. I love you. I think
I
that,
love
like,
you.
I like dropped the fucking mic, and I don't even want to do this rapid fire anymore. But we're gonna do it because
But you do
maybe
it. You
yeah,
can
we'll
always
do
cut
it.
some parts.
Girl. Okay, let's see. Okay, rapid fire. Oh, here, right. I'm gonna make you big screen. Okay, rapid fire. Ready? Okay, belonging is built, not found. Agree or disagree?
Both.
One thing AI will never replace.
Human relationships.
A creative habit you'll never apologize for.
Doing it all.
What does enough look like to you now?
What is in front of me?
Love it. If money weren't an option, what would your career look like?
Oh, I already have everything I need. It's just a matter of funding everything else. I guess if it wasn't an option, I mean, it would already be built. But what fun is that? All of it, the idea, like the summit in Mauritius, the building in Chicago, the multiple WeXL franchise, I don't know, franchises, locations, with all the kids being able to be to access our programs. I mean, but then that's it, right?
Okay, so last question that I ask everybody is, what is the one thing you still haven't figured out about being an artist?
Oh, oh my goodness. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I mean, I figured out that I haven't figured it out. I haven't figured anything out. I don't just, I don't know. I think that's what it is. And I think it's, I'm grateful. I love, Dick Van Dyke just turns 100 years old this month, and he's just so lovely, and the things that he says about life, that's so cool. I would love to be like that, and just realize, have the humility to understand that we're just humans, but
Mm.
also be empowered that because of that we can make anything we want.
So where can people find you? And any last words for our people?
Oh yeah. So WeXL.com is where I am trying to figure out the whole WeXL daily content YouTube thing. You can check that out. I'll be updating that. WeXL.org is the nonprofit website, and soon enough we'll have more, maybe a shop with your book, Megan, and our creator mentors will be on there, and also their products is hopefully we can launch that soon. But also ArabellaDeLucco.com is just my little personal website, but I'll also update that too. Thank you.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you.